Alright, let's get it. So we're gonna start off watching some Joe Knows videos. My partner recommended him, so I think he has a good builder, just a complete breakdown of the builder. I haven't seen really no builder news at all yet. I just seen a couple tweets that I like, so we could go to those in the video also. But yeah, this is my live and raw reaction, y'all. So I'm seeing this for the first time, like many of y'all probably are. Let's see what we got.
But for the most part, it works the same. You got your height, weight, wingspan. You can change that in the main menu. This is the first screen that you see, but the NBA 2K26 Myplayer Builder breakdown. Drop a like on the video for me. Let's try to get this to 20,000 likes. Now, first things first, the layout looks a little different, but for the most part, it works the same. You got your height, weight, wingspan. You can change that in the main menu. This is the first screen that you see, but I recommend pressing the bumper to get the detailed view. The detailed view is going to allow you to see not only your body types, but more importantly, the badges that are going to be able to unlock with your height, weight, and wingspan. And also it shows you the badge tiers, which is even more important this year with the Badge Max +1 and +2 perks. Your badge tiers are going to matter. We'll get more into detail of how you can utilize those and what you should be paying attention to, because some of the badges have switched to different tiers at certain heights than last year, so it's not all the same that you're used to from 2K25. But navigating these menus was a little clunky at first. There's so many things to expand and change tabs and stuff like that. You kind of get used to it after a little while, but right off the bat, it's going to be a little confusing. So when you press triangle, you're going to bring up this menu here that has badges, takeovers, and then build by badges. But when you're over the badges tab, if you press square, that's going to expand it and give you the badge layout of tier 1, tier 2, and as you upgrade your attributes, then you could see which badges are being upgraded, you know, pretty much the standard stuff that we're used to from 2K25, but you gotta kind of open all those tabs to be able to see it. But once you get those tabs open, as you put the attributes up, you see the badges, yada, yada, yada. Let's move on to 3-point thresholds, and these have changed. Taller builds can get higher 3-point ratings, but let's go through it. So the tallest you can be to get Legend Limitless is still 6'5". The tallest you can be to get Gold Limitless is still 6'6". But after that, you can get Silver Limitless on every single height in the game. Yes, a 7'4" center can get Silver Limitless, and then you start thinking Badge Max +2, Hall of Fame Limitless. Y'all see where we're going with this. But, so the taller builds can get the higher 3 balls. Also, when we start to look at takeovers, that's going to affect what the tall builds can get takeover-wise. And pretty much a 7'1" can get a 93-point rating, which, as you're going to see in a second, unlocks Deep Bomber. 7'2", 7'3", 7'4" get 89 3 balls, so that doesn't unlock Deep Bomber. But 7'1s, you can have a 7'1" minimum wingspan with Deep Bomber. Pretty crazy. Let's keep going. Wingspan.
So is he saying it maxes out at silver, but with the badge +2, you're gonna be able to take that above silver? Is that what every build like is? That's what I'm kind of confused about. I'm assuming that's what he means by that. So if it maxes out at silver for the rest of them, the ones that don't get the limitless gold or legend, do the ones that max out at silver? Does that mean that once they hit or once they max out at their silver, once they get their badge +2, that silver can become what would it become, a gold or a legend regardless? Is that what they're saying? I'm assuming. I don't know. Let's keep watching.
Have changed. The max wingspan is 6 inches above your player's height. That is from the shortest to the tallest player. It is universal. I know last year, like 7'1" got like an extra 2 inches compared to 7 foot. Everything goes up by 1 inch. It's 6 inches above the height of your player. Also, the 3-point thresholds have gone up for max wingspan players, probably partly due to the fact that wingspans are a little smaller now, but I think it's also just higher 3-point ratings for taller builds and stuff like that. Takeovers. As I said, you can get Deep Bomber on a 7'1". Make sure when you're making your builds, you are looking at the takeover requirements. It is whatever ability you want, it is the same. I know last year there was like different takeovers.
Looks like it's going to be a lot to look at while making this. Like, I think last year I took over an hour to make my first build. This year is going to be, might spend a good 2 hours in this builder. Hold on, I want to look at this real quick.
Make sure when you're making your builds, you are
So 3-point architect is the requirements. Wow. All right.
Are looking at the takeover requirements. It is whatever ability you want, it is the same. I know last year there was like different takeovers that had the same takeover ability, had different attribute threshold like unlocks. Not this year. Whatever takeover ability you want, it is the same requirement regardless of your build. There is no, regardless of the takeover that you choose or custom takeover, the ability is the same rating. So Deep Bomber is 93 pointer. So you got to make sure your build is able to get that if you want to get Deep Bomber. Another example is Blur. Blur is 85 ball handle, 80 speed with ball. So make sure you're looking at these requirements when you're making your build. Very, very important to make sure you get the takeover ability that you want so that you have access to it when you do your custom takeover, or if you're somebody that decides to not use custom takeover.
I want to read that. What was Blur? Blur. Oh, it's right there. Blur enhances the ability to drive by defenders, making it easier to get to the rim. So blow by. I don't know. Was that a badge last year? I don't even remember. Not a badge, a takeover ability last year. I didn't play much 2K25, man. But, alright, let's see.
Or if you're somebody that doesn't want to use custom takeover, you still got to unlock the ability by meeting the requirements if you use a regular takeover. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about. When you look at the takeovers, pay attention. Some of them have changed. Some of them have been combined. You have, let's say, for example, last year, See the Future was part of the rebounding badge. See the Future is now part of Rim Guardian badge. You also have, like, the brick wall take is now part of the rebounding takeover. I'm not using the specific names. Obviously, you look at the list, you can do it, but I'm just giving the generality so it's easy for everyone to understand. You also have, like, the defensive take. It's a combination of both. It boosts your bumps on the ball and your steals this year. So they combine some of the takeovers. Some of them stayed the same, like Deep Bomber is still Deep Bomber, Blur is still Blur, and the layup one is still the layup one. But some of them have been combined, and I think it's like the sharpshooter one. That one also boosts your ankle breakers now. So that's like the combination of, I think it was called Marksman and Silky Shooter from 2K25. So make sure you're paying attention to the takeovers because the abilities have changed. Some of them have like new names and stuff, but I'm talking more specifically about what.
So I may not have Blur on my point guard last year. Either I didn't check for it or I just didn't meet the requirements. I got to make sure I meet the requirements for Blur this year for sure. I'm about to write that in my notes. I got my notepad out.
What they actually do for you. Make sure you're paying attention to it so that you get what you want, because if you just go based off last year, there's a good chance that you're gonna mess it up. But I'm gonna scroll down the list here and you guys can look at it if you want to pause the video and read some of the descriptions and really analyze the attributes and stuff like that. But pretty much we'll scroll to the bottom of the list so at least you can just see all the takeover options. But if you're like me, I'm pretty much just worried about the abilities because I'm gonna be unlocking that custom takeover, and then I'm gonna be putting up the attributes that I want to put up while getting the ability that I want. I know for maybe some more casual players that's probably like a little bit tedious and maybe you don't even want to have to worry about that, but I know for everybody out there that's like more of a a sweaty player, or not even sweaty, but just you play 2K a lot, you're going to want to do the custom takeover to boost the attributes that you want and then get the ability that you want. But like I said, make sure you're paying attention to the ability unlocks because they are different from last year. Meet those requirements, you'll get the takeover that you want. Let's keep it moving. Next up, let's talk about the new feature. They talked about the animation glossary. Now I know this probably doesn't sound important right off the rip, especially for the more knowledgeable players, but trust me, it is valuable. A lot of dribble move and dunk move requirements have changed, so when you're in here, I definitely recommend using it, at least until you memorize. Well, maybe you don't memorize them. I usually end up memorizing them, but that's a topic for another day. But I would definitely recommend using this. You could scroll through and see, like I said, dribble moves, dunk move, everything that you want, all the requirements for it, and a lot of it has changed. Something I noticed too is it seems like, and this could be inaccurate, but from what I saw, players' dribble moves all have the same requirement. So it's not like, let's say you want Kobe's escape. Kobe's escape, Kobe's crossover, Kobe's behind the back, Kobe's hezzy. Everything has the same ball handle requirement for each player. There's not like a different requirement for his escape and then his behind the back. From what I saw, everything was the same requirement for each player. All the Durant SIGs were all the same ball handle requirements. Now check this out. A very important small detail here that they changed this year, and I noticed this scrolling through the animation glossary. Standing dunk requirements, although the rating is the same, you have to be 6'5" now. So 6'4" and under cannot equip standing dunks. That's a big change. Those 6'4" locks cutting out the corner, getting those quick standing dunks, small guards being able to get to the dead zone and then go up with that standing dunk cheese. I mean, if you can't equip standing dunks, it's going to be much more. You could probably still trigger an animation here or there, but it's not nearly going to be as consistent as it was in past games. So I feel like that is a small detail that's going to have a big impact, especially in competitive gameplay. 6'5" and up to get standing dunks in 2K26. Now let's talk about badge thresholds. A lot of the badge threshold requirements are the same, but there were some small changes, so just pay attention as you're making your builds. You don't want to miss one by just a couple attributes. And any badge requirement that had 3 attributes tied to it, for example, box out beast, last year it was offensive or defensive rebound plus strength. This year they dropped all those 3 requirement ones down to 2. So now box out beast is just offensive or defensive rebound. There's no strength involved. So pay attention as you're making. Like I said, you're going to notice a lot of the requirements are the same. So it kind of helps streamline the build making process because a lot of us have those thresholds already ingrained in our head from last year. But definitely just take a second look to make sure you're not missing anything. Because like I said, sometimes it is tweaked and you could probably save attributes somewhere because you don't need certain, like if you want just gold box out beast, you just need 85 rebound, offensive or defensive. You don't need to put your strength up to whatever the requirement was last year. So just pay attention as you do things. I remember Versatile Visionary, they dropped the requirement for that. I think it's like 70 for bronze and 78 for silver now. So definitely pay attention as you're looking at the badge requirements. But let's talk about badge tiers. These are really, really important, as we talked about quickly earlier, because of the badge max +1 and +2. You get 1 each in the tier 1, 1 each in the tier 2, plus your build specialization, a whole lot of stuff going on with the badges. So pay attention to the badge tiers. Some things have changed as you flicker between different heights. You'll see on the bottom badges switch from tier 1 to tier 2 based on height. A major change that I noticed was now 6'8" players, lightning launches in the tier 2 category. So you could use your tier 2 badge max +2 on lightning launch and put it from silver to Hoff on a 6'8" player. So that is really important. Make sure you not only pay attention to the badge tiers, but what badges may have switched from tier 1 to tier 2 from last year that maybe you had ingrained in your head.
Man, so everybody's about to be moving like a guard. That's pretty much what this game's about to be. Not mad at it. That's how the NBA is.
Let's move on to relevant badges. In the menu now, you can click R3 while you're hovering over an attribute, and you're going to see badges down below that are tied to that attribute will highlight in like a bluish, kind of greenish, like a turquoise. I don't know. You tell me what color it is in the comments. I mean, I'm bad at this, but they will highlight the badges that are tied to the attribute that you're over. It's just a small quality of life thing, but definitely for newer players, it probably is nice to see like, okay, this attribute will help me get these badges. Like I said, for more experienced players, you're probably never going to use it, but for newer players or players looking for more help and guidance in the builder, definitely a valuable tool to use. Let's talk about attribute weights real quick. A lot of the attributes feel relatively similar in how expensive they are at specific heights, but certain things that I noticed, things like driving layup felt like it was a bit cheaper. Pass accuracy felt like it was a bit cheaper. So pay attention as you're going through the builder. It might look so similar, but there are these small little changes that could really have an impact on how good your build ends up being, and more importantly, how much you end up liking your build. You could make a build and then be like, man, I didn't realize like I could have got all this pass ac, or I could have just went 1 inch shorter and got my lightning launch in a different tier, so then I could have used my badge max +2 in a different spot. Like there's just so many little different factors that if you really utilize them correctly, you're going to be able to make some crazy builds on NBA 2K26. But if y'all want to check out a Kevin Durant build that 2K says has no weaknesses, click that video on the screen right there. Let me know what you think.
Oh, that's what we're watching next. It's over already? Alright, so the builder looks pretty, it looks more user-friendly, and I need that. He said just for beginners, but not just for beginners, for me too, because I need to see all of that stuff. I'm always forgetting. I'm always missing out on something. I think last year I tried to make a KD type build, and I just messed up on his height or something. I just didn't, I didn't do something right, so I couldn't get the actual KD shot, so I need that type of stuff. So, cool, that's the builder. I want to see that KD build, though. Let's see. I think I could just go to his channel. See this KD 6'11" build.
26
no
Kevin.
weaknesses. No weaknesses is crazy, but let's see it.
NBA 2K26 Kevin Durant build. When I saw how this 6'11 KD could move in the Learn 2K, I knew there was potential. And then when I hit the play now, I saw what I wanted to see. Shooting over people like Kevin Durant. And the thing about this is I was paying attention in the top right corner. Look at the badges that he has. He's got Hoff Deadeye, Gold Limitless, Gold Lightning Launch. He has badges that we are able to get on a 6'11 now because of those Badge Max plus 2s and Badge Max plus 1s. This is my 6'11 Kevin Durant build on NBA 2K26, and they're saying it has no weaknesses. Let's get into it. What if I told you you could be using your sports knowledge to win money? Well, you're going to want to check out the sponsor of today's video, Prize Picks. The more money you make, it's your first $5 lineup. Age restrictions apply. Please play responsibly. Thank you to Prize Picks for sponsoring today's video. All right, let's get into this KD build. 6'11", 213 on the weight, 7'1 wingspan. I wanted to go higher, but to get KD's base, you need 89 shot rating. So we got the 89 mid-range to unlock KD's jumper and all that. Plus, you're going to see what we're going to do with these Badge Max plus 2 plus 1 combos. It's going to be crazy. 6'11", we're going to have Legend Set Shot and Hoff Shifty and all this stuff. So let's get into it. I didn't want to go minimum wingspan because obviously KD has, you know, long arms, and at least we got a couple extra inches on the wingspan going 7'1". But let's dive into this thing, man. And bro, I'm not clickbaiting. It really said no weaknesses. I'm going to show y'all at the end. But I want y'all to see how the attributes move. It is very similar to last year. But I feel like watching this, you could actually like get some information from how the things go up, and that's why I just backed out and I came back in because I forgot to pull up the menu. If you watch my builder breakdown, there's so many tabs and little things to pull up. It's very tedious. I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of clunky to navigate, but I think as the year goes on, we'll get used to it. But I want y'all to see like how the badges come up as I put the attributes up and see like how the overall goes up. So instead of just skipping all the way to the end, I feel like there is value in watching, you know, how things get upgraded and how expensive they are and things like that. That's going to kind of help you make your build when you go in. But one thing I noticed is Kevin Durant's dribble animations are only 70 ball handle requirement. So we went 73 ball handle to get strong handles on gold because we got 75 strength. But we got all KD's SIGs on the dribble side with that 73 ball handle, and then we have his jump shot, base, and releases with the 89 mid-range. So at least in the Community Day version of the game, we got all the KD stuff that we want to see, because, I mean, y'all saw the clips. KD's moving this year. KD is bursting. KD's looking like KD. I ain't gonna lie. So I was really inspired when making this build, as corny as that sounds, but y'all get what I'm saying. Also forgot to mention that 68 speed with ball is not only Bronze Lightning Launch, but KD's dribble style is 65 speed with ball. So we even get KD's dribble style. KD's dribble style, KD's dribble moves, his jump shot base, jump shot releases, all that good stuff. All right, now let's keep it going. Box Out Beast is not tied to strength anymore if you watch my builder breakdown. So that 85 defensive rebound, we're getting gold Box Out Beast with silver rebound chaser. And if you watch the intro, you saw KD has silver rebound chaser. We're going to end up with a lot of similar badges to what KD has on the roster. And that can only mean good things because KD is an absolute god on this game. I ain't gonna lie. He was my favorite player that I used in all of the play now testing that I did. We got 90 layup, 87 driving dunk, 72 standing dunk. That's going to give us the bronze rise up. Now, the build's already looking solid. I know you're probably looking at like, damn, 93 overall. There's like not much else you could do. I don't know if it's because I'm 6'11 or what, but I got a whole lot more attributes to get. We're going to get 87 post control. That's going to be gold post up poet. That's also going to give us the post fade phenom. We are 95 overall. We haven't touched our defense yet, but check this out. 71 perimeter, that's going to be bronze challenger. It is a tier 2 badge, so if you wanted to, you could badge max plus 2 it and have gold challenger on the 6'11 or plus 1 it and get it to silver, but we'll talk about that in just a second. 60 steal for the bronze interceptor. And then on top of it, you know KD's coming off the weak side, using that height and that wingspan to contest shots and block shots. 84 blocks, 70 interior, that's going to be silver anchor And we still got some attributes left over. We're going to slap that on free throw. I mean, it's Kevin Durant. We got to be automatic from the charity stripe, so we're going to put the rest on our free throw. And then we're really going to dive into what the potential possibilities are with your Badge Max +1 and +2 slots. And remember, this is a build with no cap breakers. Imagine this build with 5 or 10 cap breakers. I mean, man, this build is looking like a park or random wreck, just absolute all-around demigod.
Alright, so this is what we want to see. So for the KD build, we have an 85 close shot, a 90 driving layup, a 87 driving dunk, standing dunk is 72, post control 87, midi not 89, 3 83, pass act 75, ball handle 73, speed with ball 68. It's a pretty nasty build. Okay, it doesn't really have weaknesses, I guess. The defense is fine. The defense is kind of getting carried by badges, and I know that's how a lot of people play the game and play the builder. Me, I was still wanting a little more on my defense, but I guess that's what we got cap breakers and all of that stuff, so this is without cap breakers. Yeah, this is a crazy build, I'm not gonna lie. Let me see what else he says. 79 speed. Sheesh.
Build, like, I ain't gonna lie, like, the game said there's no weakness. I mean, it does look really, really well rounded, I am not gonna lie. But let's talk about the Badge Max +1 and Badge Max +2 in the tier 1, tier 2 slots, and then also the build specialization Badge Max +1 and +2. Now check this out. Because you're 6'11", lightning launch and shifty shooter and posterizer are all in the tier 2 slot. And then on the other side, on the tier 1 slot, you're looking at your set shot, your dead eye, physical finisher. There's a lot of potential here. Let's talk about it, all right? If you specialized in shooting, you get a +1 and a +2 applied to shooting badges. So apply your +2 to set shot. Now you got legend set shot on your 6'11". I would say apply your +1 to your dead eye. Now you have gold dead eye with legend set shot. Now remember, you get a +2 that can be applied to the tier 1 and tier 2 category. So let's run through this. In the tier 1 slot, I'm looking at that bronze limitless range, using my +2 there to get gold limitless range. That's what KD has on the roster, and it felt very, very good on half difficulty. I think on 6'11", gold limitless could be real glitchy. On the tier 2 slot, as much as I would like to +2 the shifty shooter to Hoff, because that's what KD has on the roster as well, I think it makes more sense to plus the lightning launch to gold. That's what KD had on the roster, and he was flying. He was flying around the court, and being able to move on a 6'11" is going to be very important. So I would +2 the lightning launch to gold. Then we still have a tier 1 and tier 2 +1. I would use the +1 on shifty to get it to gold. I know that posterizer sitting right there, you could get that to gold, but I think the gold shifty would go a long way with the way the KD build is designed and also the KD playstyle. On the tier 1 side, there are a lot of things you could +1 that would hold some value. I mean, something like Paint Patroller, getting that on gold. Brick Wall, even getting it to silver if you feel like you're going to be setting screens. You could go Gold Rebound Chaser or Hoff Box Out Beast. Even something like Physical Finisher, helping your layup game, or getting gold unpluckable. There's a lot of options you could go with. Overall, though, it is such a well-rounded build. I'm really happy with the way this one came out. And like I said, this was with no cap breakers.
Bro, did a top 10 best build. He just dropped it.
I watched every single NBA 2K26 build video so you don't have to. And after watching over 100 hours of footage, these are the 10 best builds that I saw from NBA 2K26 Community Day. So I'm going to start with Double H's Playmaking Glass Cleaner. That is honestly giving me NBA 2K20 vibes. And the reason for this is, number one, it is 6'8", 205 pounds with a 6'10" wingspan. This build does not really have any weaknesses, okay? I'm going to go ahead and start it off with the 93 driving dunk. Off rip, if you guys watch...
What is a Playmaking Glass Cleaner? 6'8".
Anything in the gameplay reveal, you guys know that driving dunks are looking very NBA 2K24-esque, okay? The meter is huge, okay? It is massive, all right? So the meter is massive. 93 driving dunk is going to allow you guys to pull off all of the contact dunks. On top of that, we added a 93 mid-range, and an 83 3-point shot. Now, the three-pointer is a little bit low, but when I was watching him make this build, you could drop your midi a little bit to get your three-pointer up to at least 85. You could go 85-3 with a 91 midi.
Yeah, that's what I would do. Drop that midi a little bit. That's a little high for midi. I only need like an 85 midi, to be honest, unless it's for badge purposes. Rather just have it on 3 though.
Which is a little bit safer for the players out there that are not the greatest shooters. But with a 93 mid-range shot, you are going to get so many different badges because of it. In terms of playmaking, guys, big builds can speed boost this year. So you are making a 6'8" that has 85 ball handle. That's going to allow you to momentum crossover, and it's going to give you the best dribble moves in the game. You basically have a maxed out ball handle on a 6'8" build. This is absolutely insane, guys, especially this year. It's looking like big builds may be the meta. For the park, this build is nuts because you also have an 85 perimeter and a...
That's what I've been saying. Big builds are going to be the meta, but what about the big point guards? Did anybody make a big point guard build yet? At least 6'5", 6'6". That's what I want to see if anybody did in this video. I'm about to make a LeBron build, bro. This builder I look like to have a lot of fun on this. About to have a whole bunch of builds. That's what they want, right? Spend that money.
74 block. The only weakness that this build has is steal. But if you guys listen to the gameplay reveal again, they were saying that unless you have like a high steal, like in the high 90s, you're not really going to get a ton of steals. This year, you're not getting random plucks. So this might be the year of low steal being viable. And on top of that, guys, 80 defensive rebound, 75 offensive rebound. I can tell you guys right now, this build is going to be devious on the twos. Now for build number 2, we're going the same height and the same wingspan, but an entirely different vibe, okay? This is simply grinding 6'8" shooting guard build. Now I'm going to be completely honest with you guys, okay? This right here is a true traditional shooting guard, okay? He's got the 92 perimeter with the 85 steal, okay? So this build already off rip. If you guys are looking to play better defense, this is the route for you. You guys are looking to dribble.
It's a defense build, nice defense build, but why is everybody doing the mid-range so much higher than the 3? What's up with that? The mid-range need to be that high? Because I've never really struggled shooting mid-range with like an 85 midi. Like, seeing a lot of 93 midis.
Dribble better, 86 ball handle with an 80 speed with ball. So he's making sure that on his 6'8" build, he's not missing out on any of the good dribble moves. He also has a 92 mid-range and an 83 3-point shot with an 89 driving dunk. The only issue between this build versus Double H's is Double H's gets more rebound and it gets more dunk. But if you guys are looking for more of a true traditional shooting guard build, this is the one. The one thing that I like better on this build is it is going to be faster and it does have steal. It's very scary to play the game and watch the ball fly by your face. There's nothing worse than having no interceptor, than having no steal, and being that guy that's just kind of a liability when they throw the ball at you. But overall, it's two really good 6'8" builds, and it kind of comes down to a preference game. How do you play? What game modes do you play? If I had to be honest with you guys, I would say that this build is really only going to be a shooting guard, whereas Double H's build has a little bit more flexibility in what it could play. But I think Grinding's build could be more lethal in the right hands. If I was personally making one of these, I would lean Grinding's just because I think it focuses more on its strength. It might be a little less balanced, but it's better at what it needs to be better at. Now let's talk about our first actual point guard build, and it's coming from my guy Spam 101. Now, if you're not familiar with Spam,
here we go, point guards, where we at?
Pro, and he's a very competitive point guard, so he knows how to make good builds. I'm gonna go ahead and put you guys on the first point guard build of NBA 2K26.
Point guards, let's get it.
We got an 86 driving dunk and an 80 driving layup. So if you guys are not seeing a common theme, all of these people that went to community day that tested the game, they're all buying finishing. This is going to be a year of finishing. People are betting on day one. For shooting, he went with an 85 mid-range. Now, the reason...
That looks about like me, yeah. 85 midi, 95 3.
He went with an 85 mid-range is because last year that was the threshold for the pure green window in the midi. Now, we don't know what midi is going to be great versus what midi is not going to be that good, so people are banking on the same midi as last year. But with a pure green window, you may not need 85. For the three-pointer, he went with a 95. And I'm going to be honest with you guys right here and right now. If you guys are watching this video, if you want to be safe day one, if you're making a point guard, I would not put my three-pointer below a 95. In fact, if I'm you guys, I'm trying to figure out how to get my three-pointer as high as I possibly can. One of the safest things that you
I'm going for 98.3, no less. I need 98, 97. I go for 97, no less on launch day. I need a 97.3 just to be safe because I feel like shooting is going to be more difficult this year now with the pure green window, no RNG. So I need my rating up there.
You could do with your builds in NBA 2K26 is making a build that has a high three-pointer, because you know no matter how many patches come, how many changes come, whether they alter the game, having that high three-pointer is always going to make your build viable. But he has an 82 free throw, which is more than enough to make your free throws. And then, yeah, in terms of playmaking, one thing that I can tell you guys off rip that he's going to regret with this build if he does make it is his pass accuracy is super low, okay? He has
way too low. 76 pass accuracy, no. Probably because shooting was so much. 95 ball handle, you got to keep that. Yeah, you're going to have to find somewhere to get more pass accuracy because I can't play with that low of a pass accuracy as a point guard personally, but let's see the reasoning behind it.
Is high ball handle, high speed with ball, which is great, but he has a 76 pass accuracy, which, yes, with cat breakers and all of these things, you can raise. To be honest with you guys, a change that I would make, instead of rocking with the 79 steal and the 61 perimeter, I know he wants to have a little bit of steal so he can take passes out of the corner. To me, it's way more important for him to have pass accuracy on his point guard build than it is to have steal. Now, if you guys don't agree with that, you guys don't have to do that. But if I'm you guys and I'm looking at making this build, I'm probably going to change that. But yeah, overall, this is a really solid build. Again, he's buying into finishing. He wants...
Yeah, he bought into finishing for sure. But not even 80 driving layup. I don't really like this build. I don't like this point guard build. I wouldn't even use this as a template. I was trying to find something just like for a template for me to start at on launch day, but I don't even think I would use this as a template. I don't like it. All right, what else they got?
To be a finisher. So this is a really well-rounded point guard build. Not a ton of weaknesses. Again, if I had to make a tweak myself, the only thing I would do is make sure that you guys get that pass accuracy up. Now, of course, we got to talk about the man, the myth, the legend, Joe Knows. Now, he dropped 3 different center builds, but I'm going to go ahead and let you guys know what my favorite center build that he dropped was, and that was his inside center. Now, all 3 of his center builds are super viable, but in my personal opinion, the inside center was the best one. Now, let me go ahead and tell you guys why I like it. Number 1, the finishing is absolutely insane, okay? We have an 87 driving dunk, 90 standing, 65 post control, 79 close shot on a 7-foot build, okay? So the build is 7 foot with a 7'6" wingspan. You have insane driving and insane standing dunk on this build. Now, this is an inside center, so we do not have shooting on this build. One thing I would say, though, is make sure that you guys find a way to get your free throw up. You do not want to be in any game mode with no free throw. I understand you don't need it for park, but you're always at some point going to go into the rec center or going to play 5s. Make sure that you have free throws so you are not getting hack or shack. For the pass accuracy, we have an 87 pass accuracy, so we are going to go ahead and be able to cat breaker that to get 92 to get the break starter. However, the only thing I would have liked to see him do on this build, and this isn't something that I always personally do, but I would have liked to see him get a little bit of speed with ball, just because if you're making a build like this that can get downhill, the best part about the driving dunk is the fact that if you catch the ball on the roll, you can kind of get to the basket quickly and dunk it. So I would like to see a little bit of speed with ball on this build, but overall, really solid. You have good defense, 75 interior, 62 perimeter, 60 steals, 74 block. So really solid defense. You don't need to have too much defense on a 7-foot build, because if you're using a 7-foot center, 9 out of 10 times you're playing 5s with this build. So your power forward is more likely than not going to guard the pick and roll. You have a 99 rebound, an 84 defensive rebound. Now, what I would have also liked to see here is probably just to start with a 94 offensive rebound, preparing to get your cat breakers. That way you could open up more attributes elsewhere, because when you put an attribute at 99 overall, you are instantly penalized. And then from there, 65 speed, so solid speed, 95 strength, and a 77 vertical. Man, overall, Really, really good build. And again, if you guys are preparing for cap breakers, what you can do is drop your strength a little bit, drop your offensive rebound, and this is going to get you guys so many more attribute points in other areas. Once you get past that 94, 95, 96 threshold, it gets really expensive and really taxing. But overall, this is a very solid center build. Now, I got a sleeper YouTuber that you guys might not have heard of, but you need to, because this is 2 years in a row that she has come out with a good build from NBA 2K Community Day. Her name is Boom Boom, and she came with a lockdown slash Cooper flag build. I'm not going to call it a Cooper flag build. What I'm going to call it is a power forward build. Okay, this is a back end, a traditional pro-am back end, but you could also use this in the park as a center. Okay, what you guys have is a 73 driving dunk, and then that's really all you need. Okay, one thing about me, you guys know me, I'm not the person that unloads a million points into dunk. I might this year, but I'm not the person that unloads a million points into dunk and wastes attributes. So this build is gonna have enough finishing to be serviceable. Okay, but if you guys are playing rec or fives and you want to make a build like this, what I would do is drop a couple attributes from other places. I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys where I would do that. Defense, 85 perimeter, 89 steal, 84 block. So this is a defensive anchor. Okay, I like it a lot because the room has been left to use your cap breakers in good places. Okay, you can cap break your steal, get it up. You want to make sure that if you're going to make like a 6-7 back end, 6-7, if you're going to make a 6-7 back end, you want to make sure that you can get as high of steal as possible. And with cap breakers, you guys are going to be able to make that possible. But for the rebounding, a 93 defensive rebounding, which is maxed out, 85 speed, 82 agility, 85 strength, 80 vertical, a really, really, really solid. It's at small forward, but I'm going to call this a power forward build. If you guys have played 2K, you know the small forward builds are not really a thing. If you guys are playing small forward in fives, you're usually a lockdown defender or another power forward if you're running double power forwards. But the small forward is kind of a lost art. I would say this is more of a power forward build, but I do like it a lot. With a few tweaks, this could be a very, very viable back end. If you're not tapped in with this YouTuber, you need to tap in with him because he absolutely cooked at Community Day. This is my guy, Kang Dooms. Okay, now look, off rip, I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys this build, and I think you guys are gonna like this build a lot because this build is super, super, super solid. Okay, let's go ahead and start with the finishing. You got an 80 driving dunk. Okay, an 80 driving dunk usually would get you the quick drops off too. We don't know what all the animations and thresholds are going to be this year, but 80 is always going to be serviceable. It's always going to be enough. It's always going to be a really good amount of finishing. In terms of shooting, you have an 83 pointer, a 70 mid-range, and a low free throw. Now, you guys could get the free throw up if you guys are playing.
Alright, so it's just no love for the point guard builds, man. I'm trying to find a good point guard build. Let's see.
Everyone's talking about tall point guards, so we're going to do the opposite because remember, majority of the past 2Ks, a little point guard has been the meta for 3s and 5s. So let's jump right into this. Drop a like for me if you haven't already and subscribe if you're new. I'm going to be dropping a lot of good NBA 2K26 content. So we're going with a point guard, obviously. We're going to be 6'1", lowest weight 160 pounds with a
Tall ISO builds are back. I mean, seriously, look at how I'm moving. The speed boosts are crazy. You can spam escapes and behind the backs freely. The misdirections are back and looking good. The build diversity on this game is gonna be insane. I played NBA 2K26 early at Community Day and I made every build you could imagine. Today, I'm showing you guys the tall ISO build that I made, and you guys can tell this build is looking pretty crazy. And also, I think I'm moving like this without any badges because this is from Community Day. I was moving even crazier with my small guard builds though. Subscribe right now if you want me to drop the small guards video because I made like 4 builds and they were all moving insanely fast. I'm daily streaming showcasing all the builds I made in the entire rep grant for 2K26. Twitch.tv/Sholo. I'm probably live right now. Link in the description. Come through. What's up, guys? It's Solo back with another video, and today we can finally show you guys all the builds that we made at Community Day. I cannot lie to you guys, I was locked in on the builder. You know, a lot of people were playing Play Now for a while, focused on the gameplay. I, however, was making builds for probably 8 out of the 10 hours that we were able to play. And I wanted to start off first build video of the year with a tall ISO build because we've seen from the dribbling, from the gameplay. I mean, you probably saw it in the intro. These tall builds are back. They are moving faster than ever. 6'6s, even like 6'11s, like the taller builds for real, I saw were moving pretty crazy. And for my first build, that we will be showing, it is going to be a 6'6". So just looking at some of the build heights, you know, messing around with the positions here, I end up going with a point guard, but you know, I know some people are going to want to make tall builds like a 6'11".
Yeah, so that's what I'm looking for. 6'6" point guard. I need to see what they get. I don't know if I'm going to go full 6'6" or 6'5". I might just end up at that 6'4". Probably won't go 6'3". Maybe 6'4". I just don't know how I'm going, what type of player I'm going to lean to. I usually lean to make my player just a little Stephen Curry-ish, but I might lean more towards like a point forward. I don't know. This is what I wanted to see, though. Let me just see if I can get an idea of how it's working.
You probably got to go power forward for that. But point guard, 6'6" on the height. For the weight, we're going to go 195. That gives us the 86 speed of ball, which is needed for gold lightning launch, which we're going to max +2 that up to legend. So we're going to be having the fastest burst on the game. I mean, of course, if we have a 99 speed of ball, it would be quicker, but that's not possible on a 6'6". And then our wingspan is going to be 6'6", and that perfectly aligns and lets us get a 94 3-pointer, which we only need a 93 to get gold limitless range, which will max +2 that to get legend. This build is going to be crazy. Ladies and gentlemen, now we have the attribute screen. This is very, very important, especially with all the cap breakers, the badge perks, the max +2s, all that. So we're starting off with our 3-point shot. Like I said on the other screen, we are going to be getting that gold limitless range. So you guys see 93 on the 3-point shot, which gives us gold limitless range. Hold on, it's on a 92, but there it is. Gold limitless range, gold shifty shooter, gold set shot specialist, and gold dead eye. Again, you guys are going to get 3 max +2 badge perks, so you can boost any combination of these badges up +2. I'm probably going to be doing limitless range. I mean, maybe I'll mess around, maybe I'll go set shot instead, maybe shifty shooter. We'll have to see. But I mean, there's a lot of, you know, options. There's a lot of options with these builds. Same with the cap breakers. I'll tell you guys, you know, where I'm thinking about putting the cap breakers later. But this is also kind of more so a day one build, so I'm not building it for 15 cap breakers, because who knows if we'll even get there. And if I do get there, well, I will get there if you know, that's in the game again. But I'll make a new build by then. I know, you know, some of you guys don't like that, but this is a day one build, so I'm making it for, you know, up to 7 cap breakers, 8 cap breakers, something like that. So we're gonna go 85 on the ball handle, which gives us silver handles for days, bronze ankle assassin, and silver on pluckable. This also gives us all the dribble moves for these tall builds. Then we're going to be going 86 on the speed of ball. That's why we put our weight on 195, so that we can get that. And that gives us gold lightning launch, which I'm going to be using a max +2 to put that up to legend. So far we have 1 shooting badge. I don't know what it's going to be. Maybe limitless range. If set shots OP, maybe it'll be that. Maybe it'll be shifty shooter. We'll have to see. But we have options. And then for sure we're going to be max +2ing lightning launch. And here's some quick dribbling gameplay with this 86 speed of ball, with this 85 ball handle, and you guys can see I'm moving pretty good. And this was really my first time dribbling with one of these builds, and I was figuring it out. So once we really figure out all the best animations and all that, and I don't even think this is with badges, so I probably got no lightning launch in these clips, so it's only going to get better. I think this build really is going to be crazy. As right here, I'm going to hit a back fade. Now we're back to the attributes, and let's talk about the finishing. Now the dunk meter, it's looking a little bit better. It's not looking too OP though, but on a 6'6", on an ISO build, we got to be able to dunk, because if we get by our defender, we want to be able to dunk, or even if he's in the paint, you want to be able to posterize him. We're going to go 89, driving it with a 78 vertical, and that is going to give us both 1 foot, which is really the better ones, and 2 foot contact dunks. You guys can see right there, 89 driving dunk, 78 vertical to get the pro contact dunks off of 1. And then I'll show you in a second, we're also going to get the 2 foot contact dunks. But I don't know how I'm feeling about the contact dunks. You know, I don't know if this is the build I'm gonna be making on day one. I'm really leaning towards making a 6'6". Again, subscribe, turn on noties. I'm gonna drop the small builds, the small guard builds, like a 6'4", 6'2", stuff like that, probably tomorrow, and you guys could see, you know, those builds are moving honestly faster than these builds, which makes sense. But shit.
Yeah, I'd sacrifice. I'd sacrifice drive and dunk and dunks. I don't really need dunks. Never really cared for dunks like that for like the last 3 or 4 years. So I'd have a little more on my three. My three will probably be like a 95 or 96. I really want my three to get to at least a 96, 97, like I said. So yeah, I'm willing to sacrifice dunks and anything to do with dunking, and even driving layup. I didn't see what was the driving layup. Let me see what he had the driving layup at. It'll show again. But I need a little more on three. That 93 for three this year, I don't feel like that's going to be enough, because I think shooting is just going to be more difficult in general.
Bro, these tall guards are moving crazy. Like, I really might have to make one for day one, even though I normally go small guard. You guys can see this is something interesting. 40 standing dunk. That's what we're gonna get to get, you know, the standing dunk packages. But you have to be 6'5" or taller, so that's something to note.
Oh yeah, drive and dunk at 89. Yeah, I don't need that. I do not need that. My driving dunk is gonna be way lower than that. My driving layup is gonna be a little higher for sure. I need my driving layup higher than that. I take driving layup over dunk any day. So if I could get driving layup a little higher, take driving dunk down, and get 3-point up at least 2 ratings, at least to a 95, maybe a 96, that would be nice. Let me see what else though.
You have to be 6'5" or taller to get standing dunk packages at all. So you make a 6'4", there's no point in really getting standing dunk. Now we're gonna go 71 pass accuracy, which gives us silver dimer, bronze break starter, bronze versatile visionary. I wanted to get this higher, but it's just so hard to get everything on a build. I did notice though, pass accuracy is a little bit cheaper in this builder compared to the 2K25 builder, which is a good thing because pass accuracy was so expensive and just a lot of guards just didn't end up getting it. But we're gonna get silver dimer, which, you know, if you want, you could max +2 that. I'm probably gonna end up max +1ing that up to gold for, you know, my poppers, my lockdowns, whoever I play with. You know, I'm probably gonna be using this build more so on the 2s. You know, if I play 3s or rec, probably want to go with a little more pass accuracy. But you guys are going to see here, we're going to go 85 perimeter, which gives us silver challenger, silver umbrella menace, silver pick dodger, and we also upped our agility to a 77. So we have all silver badges. You know, you could have the option to max +1 some of these. I don't know if I'm going to be doing that. You know, there's a lot of badges you could boost, so there's a lot of options here. One badge I think I'm going to be boosting is going to be interceptor. So we're going to go 79 steel. I think a really good sweet spot, like a money spot, is an 85 steel, because you get gold interceptor. If you want to max +2 that is for legend interceptor, obviously. But on this build, we might be max +1ing it. I think there's just a few other badges that are more important to max +2, like limitless range, like potentially posterizer, lightning launch, going to be more important. But you know, we'll probably max +1 interceptor. We're gonna get a 70 interior defense and a 68 block.
Did he already do his pass accuracy? Where was 71? Is this the one I looked at on the dude's other video? It might be 71. Yeah, we're gonna work on this. No, it's not the same dude. I remember it was a different guy, but
block. I think you're going to need interior defense, or else people are just going to be scoring on you. I think it's going to matter more in 2K26, that interior defense rating, or else even if you're there, I think people are just going to be going up on you. And this is a 6'6" icy build. I want to be good at everything on the 2s. No matter who pulls up, I'll be able to guard you. I think the defense is honestly looking good. And then we were also able to get rebounding on the...
Yeah, I wouldn't use this as a template either. It looks like I'm going to be starting from scratch. I'm going to have the best point guard build. Watch. I still don't know though. I don't know if the benefits of just like, I know everything looks smooth now with tall builds, can dribble again, but I don't know if the benefits besides dribbling or whatever outweigh what a 6'4" guard or a 6'3" guard will be able to do. I think 6'4" might be the move. That's how I'm feeling now after seeing this. Do I really need to watch anything else? Let's see.
This build with a 6 to the ball and a +6 speed. This one was looking chicken. Matt Ryan, John Goldrich will go to legend. Diagonal down, but then you like can't.
All right. 7-4 Bills. Somebody made a step.
What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Fantasy Season, aka Fana, and if you're an OG, you might even some cat breakers. Start off by going 96.3, I believe here. Yes, 96.3 gets you Limitless Range Hall of Fame. 3-pointer is really expensive. I am 100% going to be using my cap breakers on my 3-point when I unlock them, just because it takes up so much of your overall. I went 92 ball handle just for animation requirements, and then I went 94 speed with ball just because I'm pretty sure from what I can tell that's what's going to be how fast you are with the ball more than agility. I always put my interior up, put my perimeter up just so I'm not getting completely shot over, and then I tried to dabble with my driving dunk as much as I can. Did end up going 70 pass sack. I went 60 interior, 64 perimeter, 59 block. We have a 96 3, a 86 mid-range, 80 driving dunk. Like I said, slashing and dunk meter seems pretty good. I have a 94 speed, 81 agility, 40 strength, 64 vertical, and a 64 perimeter. Now, once again, I don't think this...
Well, this seems like a way better template. This is a better way. This is a better base at least I could start with. I'm gonna like this video. I just need a base, and then I can start to tweak and get to where I need to get to. Alright, I think that's pretty much it, y'all. I've been on for about an hour. I think we've seen what we needed to see. Honestly, it's just a lot to soak in. It wasn't even much to say this video. I'm ready to get my hands on the builder. Kind of wish we could mess with the builder before the game came out. Wouldn't that be dope? Like, just let the regular players or the pre-orders mess with the builder at least, and just at least mess around in like a my court or something, just to see where it's at before the game comes out. I don't know. I could see 2K going that route in the future. But yeah, y'all, it's the Casual Gamer, also known as J Bash Streams. I'm gonna get this up on YouTube along with my other video, and we are out of here.